Maybe I'm not creative, but you are. I am. We are. And we can write that D&D campaign, that session, that dungeon, or roleplay. We can find ideas to use in our session, and our plot, and our world. Believe it or not, I used to believe that I didn't have a creative bone in my body. Like, I literally became a professional artist and 100% didn't think I was creative. I lacked that secret magical brain juice that let others just be drove to create things purely from imagination. And to be fair, I do have an extreme case of aphantasia. I cannot see images, shapes, or even hear thoughts in my head. I just think something or I don't. There's no monologue, no inner debate, no ideas to flow. I had my own head so far in the clouds that I couldn't see what creativity truly is. But if I can be creative, so can you. Creativity isn't coming up with something out of the blue. It doesn't show up, it isn't effortless, it's not a single thought. Magic just won't appear in your head. At least, not on cue. That campaign for you to play joyfully along with your friends will sit there untouched if we don't accept that this isn't the way it works. Creativity is a remix. It's an act of curating and maintaining a library of inspiration. A place for you to pull and pick ideas from, to smash stones together till that little spark takes off into a beautiful flame of creativity. If you have never seen an animal, never heard about it, if you never knew it existed, how are you supposed to describe it? How are you supposed to combine it with something else to create this amazing idea? We simply can't. In art, the term that's commonly used, thanks to a popular book, is steal like an artist. It means to take something, take many things, that numerous amazing creators before you made, and make it your own unique thing. Many people do this every day, even without ever being told to. But it's fairly easy to do. Maybe I love Spirited Away by Studio Ghibli. So how would I make that my own? Well, I could just snag the Spirit Bathhouse, and do this to a ton of things I love and create something new. Or I could alter it. What if Spirited Away took place on a cruise ship and was horror? Oh wait, I've accidentally created the game Little Nightmares. You'll find that if you look hard enough that most media is just remixes. And what ifs of other things. No, it's not that writers sat down and evilly rubbed their hands together, plotting on how they would steal someone else's story. It's that they were inspired, that their creativity came from things they cared about, from the libraries of memories they stored away and kept for later, that they subconsciously remixed ideas, and steal so many ideas from so many vastly different sources that you hardly even know that the idea was ever stolen, or if it was, what from. Sometimes it's obvious. What if we made war strategy plans and Lord of the Rings into a game? You know, Dungeons and Dragons? Sometimes it's less obvious. Sometimes the inspiration was from real life, a conversation, an event, a moment in time, or nature or history. Like the DM of the game I'm just a player in, calls from the weirdest facts from history. Weird historic facts like the time rats won a court case. The kind of facts where I'm just honestly confused on where they even find this information. But I would really like to know because it's pretty cool. But what am I drawing today? This is Vlad, a clumsy, awkward cleric who's a Medu, a long line of Medusa descendants that have integrated themselves into society, and the glue that holds the rivaling adventuring party, the Dual Feathers, together in my campaign. If you like other planes, more races, pre-made NPCs, tokens, and other assets my goblin D&D obsessed brain decides to make, check out my Patreon. Link in description. Now, passive taking in of knowledge is great, but we can actively look for things to inspire us. We can sit down and watch movies, other TTRPG campaigns, read books, and just read Wikipedia pages about weird things in the world. Or play video games with great story, or listen to songs we like. We can search these things out and take notes afterwards about what we liked and disliked, as well as brainstorming with just generic questions about things we do know. What movie or book do I love the plot of the most? Name 20 characters I love. Who is my favorite villain? What moments in real life would make for a fun D&D moment? What is my favorite piece of history? What country do I always wish I could visit? What are my favorite moments to past D&D games I've been a part of or watched? What types of stories am I drawn to? What are my favorite moments from stories? Like, when I watched Arcane, they were in that underground mine where the mushrooms light up from clapping. That little tiny unnecessary thing that my goblin brain just went, but D&D! But normally I don't just sit around and wait for ideas for my scripts, my sessions, my campaigns. After I watch some videos or a movie or read a book, I do a very important step. I take a walk, or I sit in my backyard and let it stew. Now, I'm no scientist, and I'm not an expert on why this happens. Probably some survival instinct confused in our modern day times. But boredom, that slow, mundane act of just doing nothing, staring at the wall, standing in the shower, laying in bed, or taking a walk, makes you just come up with more ideas. And not only more ideas, but more interesting or outside-the-box ones. For some reason, humans' creativity will both increase in quality and quantity from just being bored for 30 minutes prior to doing a creative task. This is continually showed through various studies. Boredom is good for us. Thanks a lot, science, I guess. Make time in your days for less simulation. Touch grass, spend some time out in the sun, let your brain juices just start flowing. Set down your phone and that doom scroll, an endless drive to occupy your mind at every possible moment, and just sit. Let your brain breathe. Have its moment. Stop processing new information and just think. Or don't even think. Just look at the world around you. Have a moment before you start back up to these creative processes of prepping. But what if you've did all this and you still can't think of an idea? If your brain is just stuck? It can't figure out an idea, and nothing is good enough. Well, brains don't create pathways and logic overnight. They need to be trained or exercised. This change won't happen in a day. Just like no one expects you to level from 1 to 20 in a single session, we shouldn't expect to suddenly become creative just because we took in a bunch of media. We're going to need to practice. We're going to need to make some lackluster campaigns, sessions, dungeons, or dialogue. And that's okay. Sometimes we're gonna roll in at one. It happens. But if we keep practicing, if we don't let that fear of failure get in the way, to let it stop us from doing what we love, from creating so we can play with the people we enjoy, we'll slowly raise our modifiers. That +0 will become a +1, and then a +2, and so on and so on. And one day we'll look back and think, wow, I can't believe I used to think I couldn't be creative. No one was born creative. There was no magic fairy dust that made some babies creative. No gene for it. The way to become creative is the same across all paths. It's practice. Some practice earlier in life, some practice later. Some practiced earlier and then stopped and lost some of it. But they can still get it back. You are creative, and you can become more creative. Thank you. And I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but if nothing else, it's a love letter to my younger self. That little dummy that thought they weren't creative, that they couldn't do these things because of creativity. If you're still listening, I would love to hear about something that you love about media that you think would work great in a D&D campaign. And have a beautiful day.